asked of all the candidates. So first one right there, you can ask your brother and sister members what question you'd like to ask, and then they'll vote on whether they'll ask it.
The question I'd like to ask the brothers and sisters, gentlemen on the dais, is very simple. The only agreement that we have signed right now is the hard hoist agreement. I would like to ask the candidates why they think that agreement is signed while the rest of them remain unsigned.
What's your pleasure? Should that question be posed?
Sure. Yeah. You want me to repeat it? Yeah. Brothers and sisters, the question I would like to pose to the gentleman on the dais, excuse me, is that we have one agreement signed presently, which is the hard hoist agreement. I would like to ask these gentlemen why they feel that agreement is signed while the remainder of our agreements remain unsigned at this time.
All right, I'll go.
That's a good question. Very good.
Okay. Start with Martin.
I think they have full mobility, the heist workers, so it's not a big issue. Our issue here is the full mobility and the implications of the machines that we have to go to the council and count for hours every day. And that's basically what it is.
As far as I know, there weren't any major changes to the hard hoist agreement. The members that voted on it back in March voted in favor of it, and it was an easy approval from the delegates. But all the other contracts are being held up by the wall and ceiling contract. Wall and ceiling contract has a significant change in it, where yes, we had full mobility, but it wasn't under the rules. We're trying to change the rules to allow the contractors to have full mobility in the daylight. That's a huge issue amongst us. On top of that, we have these compliance measures that haven't been completed yet, and that's what's holding up the agreement, to my understanding.
The hard hoist guys are really good guys. No, and, you know, the basic point was that there weren't any contractual changes that needed approval from the review officer, U.S. Attorney, and Judge Berman. It's a smaller, tight-knit organization, and they felt that with the raises, which they put into the medical, which is a reason we definitely hope that the compliance piece gets moved before the judge on the wall ceiling contract, gets moved forward. So I think that's the key, is to try and get through what's been a very difficult process and move the other contracts forward. So I think with wall ceiling going, we have to address the issue with the GC and subcontractors in the BCA, the issue with the our subs working for non-union GCs. They're out there all the time, the JRMs, the Aragons out there, and I think with the recent decision on the amalgamated appeal, I think will help motivate and move the GCA contract as well, and then also incorporate the floor covers contract. So, these are, sometimes, an update is there's not much going on, or sometimes it's, oh, by the way, the arbitration decision was moved a month away. That's pretty much, what's going on with the contracts and why the hard hoist moved on. It's a small, tight-knit outfit that didn't have any issues that needed to be going before the judge.
I mean, the hot hoist, yes, everything was pretty much straightforward, no issues. The contract went through. Wall and ceiling, everybody knows it has to go to the judge. I think there's bigger issues with the GCA that maybe we're not talking about. I think the amalgamated was a huge reason why the GCA isn't dealing with us, and that, to me, that's the main reason why. I think they were being interfered with. I think they were playing with the amalgamated against us. Hopefully now something will go through. We have to wait and see if they put another appeal in. I don't know if the time has run out or not, but I think they still have more time to appeal. But I think until that issue is dead, I think we're still going to have problems with the GCA. And I think that's the wall and ceiling may be tying in more with the BCA than anything else, because a lot of our contractors with the wall and ceiling are working for these BCA contractors.
Do we have another proposed question from the floor in the back? Shout out loud and clear so everyone can hear you. Okay.
I want to know, we got corruption before, we had everything. Now we got clean guys now, and we have shit. What's going on? Guys, and what are you guys going to do about it?
What's your pleasure? You want to hear the answer to that question from everybody?
We're going to get our eyeglasses back.
All right, let's get 30 seconds from everybody on that member's question.
Well, I would hope that after the review officer is finished, that we'd have a clean administration. As you know, tonight, the process was that we all would get 150 signatures. That's the first part of it. I don't know what's going to take part after that. They were actually going to run for the election, but as per the stipulation in order, I know that that's the fact of the matter is that we've passed the first hurdle. Now the second hurdle we have to pass to go to the election, and then he has to certify it. So I think when the election is certified, that we'll have passed the test.
Well, if I understand history correctly, our former representatives gave promises to certain contractors to approve their contracts speedily so that they can get backroom deals, so to speak. For example, our former president, Thomason, was held in contempt for giving away the 6-month rule that held the wall and ceiling contractors to abide by the 6-month rule. He said you didn't have to go by it. That basically gave them the full mobility. That was the start of full mobility. Now, we're trying to follow the rules, put everything on paper, and now the process has slowed because now they're going to be held accountable to the rules. Thank you.
I think we have to mend fences. We have to build bridges. We need to get our relationships back between our membership and the district council. I think we have fences to mend with contractors. I think we need to build better relationships again with our contractors. I think you're saying everything is shit now. Respectfully, I don't agree with you. I think we're working hard to make things better, and I think we are making things better on every level. And that goes, from the bottom up or the top down, however you want to put it. But the bottom line is, listen, if you want things to get better, we need to do it together. Not one person can do it, not one group. We all need to come together and build this place back to what it can be. Unity is what's going to bring it back and move it away from the shit. Thank you.
The construction industry is cyclical. Things were rolling in 2008. We had 25 million hours. Coincidentally, that was around the time that things went south with the previous administration. And so there was a world economic crisis. So I don't think you can say we have clean guys now and bad guys then, and that's like now the reason that the hours are down is because those guys are gone. I don't think it's like a link to kind of answer your question directly. Listen, it's my second supervision. I got hired in the last one. And at the time, things were pretty much to your term before, and we were coming out of another economic crisis back then. We need to put the band back together a little bit. We need to kind of get the members back re-engaged. I think part of that is getting a little bit more of an ability to act and operate like a council. As I said, I voted previously, to kind of no on the RO's extension. Not that I thought it was going to happen. But I thought we could get some room to operate and kind of.
I've got an extension to that question. If any one of you guys get in, what you guys going to do different for the membership? Besides what the previous administration did, what are you guys going to do for us?
Well, what's the pleasure of the membership present? I think we've covered a lot of that.
Yes.
Next question.
What you guys going to do for us?
Next question.
How do you make life harder for the out-of-towners here in this city that are taking our men and women's work here? When they're, and they're taking monies out of here, how would you go about making it harder for them to work in the city when all our members are out of work?
And what's the pleasure? Okay.
Let's start with Steve. Part of, as I said before, that was part of the rationale why, as an elected delegate from 157, I voted on full mobility, because that would say, if you have to have a 50-50, you bring in 10 Long Island guys and you have a 20-man crew, you're going to have to the contractors are telling us that the list isn't getting what they wanted. So now you have 10 guys you know and 10 guys you don't know, which from listening, and to the contract proposals that we've heard, that's what I didn't want. So now you're telling a contractor, so you're telling me I can pick the whole crew of New York City guys, and then I can pick my whole crew. That's the goal, is to get that 2 million hours down to less than 1 million hours, less than 500,000 hours, hopefully that to make the New York City guy easier to shape a job instead of, I got to go to the list or to network out there. Hey, listen, some people, it's doomed from the beginning, it's the end of the council. We haven't seen it yet. Change is scary, but that's one way. I've proposed that, we get an assessment of how many guys do we have from out of town and, non-members who are on our list. So we couldn't really run it because everything over $200 we have to run through the delegates. So hopefully we'll have it for the next delegate meetings. It costs $300 to run the program. And to try to gauge of, who is out there. If we're going to get the out-of-towners off the list, we have to know how many out-of-towners are on there, and non-members, and then figure out, is it what legally can we do? Is it a permitting process? Is it a certification process? Some of the other some of the specialty locals have put in New York City, Millwright, and so on and so forth to prevent the out-of-towners as a comparable option. So I think there's a bunch of things, whether it's the certification of the wall ceiling contract, a permitting process, or a skill certification for New York City guys that our contractors would request off the list to make sure the money stays here and our guys have better opportunities to go to work.
Well, the out-of-town hours is very important for us, and I think what you're actually going to see right now is the out-of-towners are actually going to join our local union here. So they're going to get a transfer, and as per the Constitution of the United Brotherhood, you can't stop them. So those out-of-towners are now going to be part of the New York District Council of Carpenters, whether you like it or not. And they're going to fight it, and those hours that are going to come into our benefit funds. I don't want the hours for out-of-towners going out of town. We want these hours here. They're very important hours, very important for your family, very important for all of us. So I think what's going to really happen is you're going to have a transfer system. And these out-of-towners are now going to become part of the New York District Council of Carpenters.
Well, one of the first things I'd like to know is the work card. Are we charging a fee? Are we to charge a higher fee if we're charging a fee? And if we're not charging a fee, to actually charge a fee? I'd like to have out-of-towners get our permission first, if that's legal, to get permission from us to work in our jurisdiction, our territory. The other thing is, if they want to get on our out-of-work list, I want our guys to come off first. New York City local members should come off our list first. The other thing is, the wall and ceiling contract, and this has been bugging me from the moment I read it, the wall and ceiling contract, a new one, doesn't have a match with New York City local union members. It has a match with with people off the out-of-work list. And I say people off the out-of-work list because members from other locals outside New York City sign up on it, in addition to non-members. So a contractor can be matched with a non-member, and that bypasses our members again. So the wall and ceiling contract match doesn't fix that. I think that's just another loophole that was created. But I'd like to have fees charged for guys working in our area and fix the out-of-work list loopholes.
The wall and ceiling contract covers itself with that. What about the cement league? What are we going to do with the cement league now? Does that mean the cement league is still going to, they'll be able to run them up with outside guys? I think we should match everybody. If a guy comes in from outside our council, I think he should be matched automatically. I think that needs to be put in the contract. If they don't want full mobility, we need to put something in there to protect our members. I think every contract that we have, if it's not like the wall and ceiling or the hot hoist where they have the full mobility, something needs to be put in that contract to protect our membership and put them to work. This is what I'm talking about. We have to be a little bit creative on how to find ways to make sure our guys are going to work. You know, we're only covered with the wall and ceiling. What about the rest of our membership? Okay, we got to think about everybody. You know, the wall and ceiling contract isn't the be-all, end-all. That's it.